Jefferson Street talking about men and the men in their lives, a topic that intrigues me greatly because what would society be like if we had more men with positive role models? The table has my dad, Sim, and a few homies, John, Marco, and Anwar. Pop off in the comments section and take your seat at the table. So these are the two stories I want to relay to jump us off, high school related. Okay, I've been substitute teaching again in good old Bergen County, Hackensack, Teaneck, Englewood, and I've been there the past week. And I decided to ask a freshman class and a junior class, what are the roles of men today? Just to ask our youth out here.
That's what you asked those things.
Are you recalling my Insta story?
I saw your story, yeah.
So
yeah.
I did see your story too.
Highly agitated by the responses I received. So the girls were the only ones that responded. The boys sat slumped, stared at me, but said nothing. And this is a little demographic situation. We got mainly Hispanic, Black, Asian, a light peppering of white, and then also, some gay, some trans is occurring. Like all sorts are happening in this classroom. This is high school. Freshman and junior.
2020, 2019.
Okay. It wasn't when I was in high school. Okay. So the girls resoundingly were on the tip of, we don't need no man. I don't know what men can do that we can't. Soon we won't really need men to procreate anyway.
Oh, wow.
So what are you telling me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
These were the responses in both grades.
Wow.
Both freshmen and juniors, right?
Freshmen and juniors.
And
all three towns?
No, just one town.
What town is this?
Englewood.
Okay.
And I was surprised. I looked at the boys as I said, well, what do you think about who's the disciplinarian? Who's this? Who's that in your household? And, I can be disciplinarian for my kids. I'm not having kids. Well, what do kids matter? Nothing matters.
Is it the boys or is it girls still?
Girls. Oh. Boys are like disciplinarian. When I said that, they were like over here. But they're not saying anything. So this made me sad. You know what's sad?
Speaking up.
They're not speaking up at all. What do they need?
And the girls are speaking
taking over, right? And I'm like, I don't even know how to respond. Then today, I went to the postal service, the office in South Hackensack.
Office. Yes, it's Jersey.
How many office?
It's Jersey. Okay. Can't find it.
So whatever. And I had the pleasure of watching a man walk in, give the women at the desk.
At the counter.
Yeah, at the counter, $60 and said, Happy Mother's Day, get yourselves a nice lunch. Thank you so much. And I thought to myself, that's what a man does. And okay, a woman could come in and do that, but we don't. Mm-hmm. And it is a man in my estimation.
My man, that's my guy.
I said aloud, thank you for allowing me the privilege to see that. That's some stuff you do.
Absolutely.
Right. Absolutely. Men do provide. And I'm not sorry to say it. And I want a man to provide. I can bring home the bacon too. But I want you to bring home more bacon. And if I want to have the decision to be a housewife for a few years, I want to make the decision. It's my decision.
And you want
him? I have a degree and I've worked and so on.
But you want him to be able to take care of that role.
And I don't want to have to say sorry for it, which I feel like right now, whether it's the US or New York or what, I have to feel sorry for wanting to be a stereotypically traditional woman.
Did you dig deeper in that question in the school and ask these ladies who responded if there's a male figure in their life?
Yes, I asked about male figures. They have fathers. They think their dads are too tough.
Really?
Well, the generation. That is interesting.
That's interesting.
And also they're obsessed with their phones. They all have a phone
that's
and
what
earpods.
this generation is, though.
Our society right now is very desensitized. And that right there, people don't know. I've been having this conversation with a lot of individuals, and I feel like people don't realize that roles have been reversing in recent years.
For many years, actually.
For many years, yeah. And it's something that I love women, right? And I love everything about a woman.
Go ahead.
But I appreciate I appreciate when a woman says, I can do anything a man can do. That's great, but you are dope to me because you can do so much more than a man can't do. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of women don't realize that. Like, no offense, stop trying to do what men do because what you do is so much more.
What do you think some of these things we're talking about are?
You make all the people. all of them.
Create population.
You make all the people.
You make all the people.
Yeah. Simple.
All of them. Everybody here is made by a woman.
Absolutely.
Correct.
So I'll throw out just where it is with my wife and I. So we have different roles and they were changing based on what needed to happen in the current time.
Okay.
So one could say that taking care of the household, dishes, laundry, things like that are traditionally a woman's job. My wife has been traveling a lot recently. I work about 3 minutes from our house.
Oh.
So as just as how I was raised, hey, I have way more time, way more space, way more energy than you on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. Why wouldn't I step up and do those things? Mm-hmm. So I think too many times we get so caught up in, well, this is what I saw.
Only.
But a lot of times it's shaped in what I saw growing up. Well, this is what my parents did, and it never gets communicated of where do your vantage points come from? Where do your experience come from? We just go on automatic.
So what you saw growing up were roles.
I saw, honestly, and this is where the mentorship kind of came into place. I didn't see a good example of a marriage growing up. But I sought that out after a lot of what my friends would like to call loaf missions. That is a DC vernacular for failing.
Loafing, right.
Being
lazy, if you will.
Yes. You have failed. You have fallen short. So after a lot of failed attempts, I sought out people who I thought had good relationships, had good marriages. And I said, okay, I need to learn from you because offense to my parent, you're tired of failing long enough, you want to win. Yeah. It's somebody who's going in sports. If you suck at basketball or baseball, whatever it is, at a certain point and you want to get to that higher level, you're going to have a coach. But I think just people don't have
coaches.
They don't have coaches, or they don't have the willingness to suppress their ego enough to get one.
And you don't always learn off the wins. You do learn off the failures and watching other people fail. And that's taking an understanding to, as you get older, because when you're a child, you don't understand why somebody as an adult would fail.
Of course.
Understanding and digging deep on possibly why they failed and not like he said, not wanting to repeat that same pattern. Like, all right, I've seen this growing up. I know that's not what I want. Right. That's not what I want to give to my children. Let me alter my actions.
What do you feel like you did?
What's that?
What do you feel like you did? You yourself?
I watched my parents work together their whole life and in a marriage fail, in business fail. And it's probably because they worked together their entire life. Whereas they should have, in my opinion, been separate as far as working wise.
So the way that income was created in your house, they worked together, they were a
7 days a week, it was nonstop. And when you have problems in the business, it just automatically translates to the household. It wasn't a conversation at the dinner table about, it was about business all the time. It was about what's happening, why are we not doing this, why are we doing this, good and bad, but it was always business, and there was never that relationship unless we went on like a vacation or we can get away and be away.
And did you?
We did, and we 3 weeks at a time, once a year.
Yeah.
And you do need that, but other than that, it was literally 7 days a week.
Yeah, nonstop.
That's a grind.
That's a grind.
Being, what I've learned as a male, being too busy, taking on too many things can leave you blind to the outside world, and you can fail.
Trying to provide too much.
You're too busy.
Correct.
Or loving what you do a little bit too much and not seeing the financials behind it, or the trend of your business, of your field. If your field is trending downwards, you need to adjust.
Right.
As a provider, you need to adjust. And just because you love something so much and you don't adjust, that can be troublesome for the family. Yeah. Not just you, but that's what I saw. I saw a lot of that. A lot of business, them working together, maybe when they shouldn't have worked together, and not adjusting when they should have adjusted.
Yeah.
That's what and that's what I don't want. I don't want my wife to work with me.
You want to do the opposite.
Yeah, I want her to have
learning
her own,
in the reverse.
If I do have a wife, I want her to have her own life, her own world. I have my own life, my own world, and we meet in the middle.
Complement each other.
What if she wants to? What if she wants to partner up with you?
Thanks.
I've had ex-girlfriends in the past that have lived with me for 4 years at a time, and I'm a business owner, so I've had people approach me and say, I'll help you, I'll do this, and I always shy away from it. I would rather either hire somebody out or do it myself because I just...
in a relationship, huh?
Yeah, not in the relationship, but I just don't see it being healthy in the marriage. Always working together all the time.
Right.
I think it does create a void. When you think it builds a bridge, it does create a void, is what I believe.
Yeah.
It will create a void at one point because you're gonna have problems. Business, you wake up in the morning as a business owner, you don't know the problems you're gonna encounter that day. This is a 24-hour, 7 days a week mission. You don't know if it's gonna be good, you don't know if it's gonna be bad. So one of these days is gonna be bad, and when it's bad, who's your go-to?
Right,
Your
always
spouse,
for everything.
your children are gonna witness this conflict. It's not good.
Have you seen any examples of couples who are in business together that were successful?
I don't see their behind the scenes, so I can't answer that.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true.
I don't see that. I do see. I do have people, and I don't want to put them out there, but I do have people that are married, working together for 30 plus years, every day, side by side.
Yeah.
I don't know what their home life looks like.
Right.
I don't know. And even when they're at work, they're separated.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's
Even room
not.
to room makes a difference.
Yeah.
Point well made.
Yeah. What did you see, Roman?
I mean, so my father was an individual who he came from another country. My parents both are immigrants, so that real. Huh?
What country?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So my father's from India, and my mother's from the Caribbean, St. Kitts, in the Caribbean.
Okay.
So, they both they were big on a very strong work ethic.
Right.
So,
We can all say that about immigrant
I
families.
understand
of course.
That's why I understand that.
So I'll say this, from my dad, he wasn't around because he worked a lot. But what I did learn, and I think this was a very admirable quality of his, like, he knew how to put his head down and get something done.
Yeah.
Like, and that was something that I saw, like, it really, even though we didn't connect as much as we should have, I took that quality and I was like, I appreciate my dad for that.
At what age?
That's a good question.
I think at a young age, because I remember when we used to go on like long trips. When we did take some family trips, my dad would always drive, and right.
It's like those little things.
That watching my dad drive. I'd go to sleep. My mom would go to sleep.
Yep.
I'd wake up. My dad still would be driving.
Focused.
And that's something I used to say to myself as a kid, like, I want to be able to drive like my dad and make sure, like, everybody was good. And
I'm
still
like, I can't wait till someone else takes his position. I want to make sure I'm asleep. That's funny.
It was crazy to me, but like, I'm that way now. When it comes to like putting my head down and just focusing, like, okay, what has to be done? Cool, I'm gonna do it. Don't worry about it.
So if you're in a group, you're the alpha most of the time.
Yeah. But it's a catch-22 because you forgo, like my dad, I don't think I've ever heard my dad really tell me he loved me. You know what I'm saying? And like, that's a very emotional situation. So it's like, you take that strength, but there's strength when it comes to, sharing your emotions. And as a man, especially nowadays, like, you have to share your feelings with people, especially with your children. Like, I have a daughter, and I think I tell her I love her like numerous times throughout the day.
How old is she?
How old is your daughter?
She's 5.
Did you have a sister?
No, so okay.
You get what I'm saying? Like, if you had a sister, maybe he would have seen like the girl.
The funny thing is, now that my dad with my daughter, it's amazing.
He can't get enough.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, and I appreciate seeing that, but and I welcome it. But he wasn't that way with me, But it's like, okay, it's a girl, so yeah, I get what you're saying.
Did your father tell you he loved you on a regular basis?
No.
You?
Oh damn.
He did, but he had a very interesting way of showing it. My pops was.
But he did say it, like, I love you, son. Like, I love you.
He did, but it usually came after there was some refined pigskin that was put to this skin. So a lot of times it came after the
beating,
the reinforcement.
It was the salve.
Yes.
After.
So a lot of times it came after that. Yeah.
You never got it. I really never got it.
But it wasn't done
It's
in
an
a
old
day.
school.
It's
Right.
you're a man. The man is not supposed to say, you know what I mean?
No.
But not for nothing. I want more children, and obviously I would like to have a son, but I will tell my son that I love him.
But that's nowadays. I mean, if I knew if I needed my father, he would be
there.
right there.
Yeah.
I knew if I needed his counsel, he'd be right there.
Absolutely.
But insofar as the communication of saying, I love you, Sim, and that just, I mean, during the latter portion of when he was dying, that came about, but no, that just was not a regular thing.
And how old were you when he was dying?
As a sergeant, so about 23, 24 years old. Yeah.
Young.
I have an interesting question, and I don't think I saw this until I was in college. I feel like maybe this is different for girls, but maybe for guys, we feel like dad is Superman, and can't do any wrong. Yeah. Dad is impenetrable. When did you see dad as
Being a human? Oh shoot!
Because that was
real.
That was
As human.
When he started getting sick, my father died of esophageal cancer, and I was the one who had gone to the hospital when he had gotten diagnosed, not my mother, because he knew that she wouldn't be able to handle it. So he made me promise not to tell her, because he told her something else, another story, so that she wouldn't deflate completely. And at that point, he became very human. And I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's all good.
There's still things. I miss my father dearly. I miss my father because he never got a chance to see Victoria. I miss my father because there's a lot of stories that I did not get from my father that I would like to know. And I feel somewhat cheated by the experience. But I know he loved me. And I know, damn, I'm sorry, I'm crying.
Don't be sorry. It's fine. That's a boy.
65 years old. I mean, you should get rid of this stuff.
No.
This is literally what we're talking about. Like, why does being a man mean you can't feel for your dad who, you know?
I just miss him very dearly.
Of course, as you should.
Just memories, and that's all I got. I have two brothers that are dead, junkies, both of them. I have three sisters. Well, I had three sisters. One died at the age of 40. One sister I really don't communicate with. I have another sister, lives in Hoboken. Pretty much on my own, except for my family here. And that's how I pretty much conducted my life as a loner. I've been a loner for many years. And just, you know, this whole thing about fathers and stuff just hits me. And I try to be the best that I can for Victoria, based upon what I didn't get.
Like, what are some of those things you even think?
And I think you've done a damn good job because I've known her almost my whole life.
Oh, enough.
No, I'm serious. And when I'm dead serious. And when I met you and we spoke at the table at dinner,
On Anderson Street?
On Anderson Street. You've done exactly that for her. You've given her, like I said, when I walked in the room today, I said the fact that you guys are both here with us at the table.
Always.
That's powerful.
Always.
That's powerful.
That's
All she has to do is
because
ask.
the way you say you're walking alone, it's not that like my parents chose for me to walk alone, but I've walked alone
Same
for
here.
a very long time.
Same
walked
here.
alone.
You also, Marco?
Yeah, you know, like,
Thank you.
No, thank you for. She's awesome.
no, she definitely is.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Okay.
No, walking alone, I definitely I connect with that because, first of all, having a father that's, you know, or parents that are immigrants, right? So they compare everything to the way that they were raised. And I identify as a black man, right? And my father could be standing right next to me and people wouldn't realize that that's my father.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
oftentimes, like, you know, as I got older, like, as I got older, I would wonder if my dad saw himself in me anymore. And that, like, really kind of messed me up a little bit.
Wow. Ooh.
No, because it's like, when you're a kid, it's like, okay, you're a baby, you're cute.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
After a while, when I started when my dad and we started getting distant, I'm like, I thought about it. I felt like.
When was that like? How old were you?
It's probably like, once, you turn when you're 12, 13.
Okay. Yeah, that new teen, crazy years.
Yeah.
Testosterone kicks in.
Right. Things get dicey.
So, I started to wonder, like, does he see any qualities of himself in me anymore? Maybe like, and my dad had some infidelity issues that we ended up finding out about later on. And how we found out, the timing that I found out, my mom and I, it really hit like a ton of bricks. Mm-hmm. So it was something that sheesh,
What did that do to your relationship with him?
I mean, so I had a very strict upbringing. Like a very, very, very
Caribbean and Indian.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
No, my dad, you're gonna be a doctor. That's what it is. You're Indian. That's the Indian. Doctor. That's it. You're gonna be an orthopedic surgeon. Period. Point blank. Cool. I was a very social individual. I was intelligent. All honors classes. I just wasn't. And I entertained the idea of being a doctor. But eventually I realized it wasn't me. That wasn't me. I could have been. I think I could have been.
Yeah.
But. And there was other things that I wanted to do. So, my father, what was the question you asked me? Sorry.
Do you feel like the infidelity issues or finding out about that did something to your relationship?
We didn't have.
As far as infidelity issues, clarify, what is that? What do you mean by that?
Without divulging whatever is super personal.
Wait, are we supposed to divulge?
Get us.
I might need another one.
Get as personal as you want. I was personal earlier this week, so yeah. We're here.
Okay,
we're here. Whatever you're comfortable with.
No, so you know what? My dad ended up having kids outside of my mom and me. Our family, and we. It's a long. Whatever. You know what?
How did it shape? Actually, I'm kind of piggyback. Because this question got posed to me by actually an ex-girlfriend. How did it shape how you viewed relationships?
So, okay, I found out about things. We found out about everything. Everything came to light my freshman year of college. And even though I was almost an adult, it hit me hard freshman year of college. Because it was thank you.
LOL.
Your freshman year of college is when you just got put out into the world. You're put out into the world and you feel like you have some sort of stability.
Yeah.
But then after I found this out, I realized I actually questioned my whole family situation. Yep. I didn't even know if my dad was was he trying to have another family?
Because
of he had 2 children. The funny thing is, I come from a very religious background as well.
Right.
So my mother, that's how my parents met. My mother is an evangelist, like a Christian evangelist. She used to go preaching all over the world. She went one summer to India. And my dad's immediate family is Christian. I have Hindu relatives, but my dad's immediate family is Christian. So that's how she met my dad and his parents. And she was stationed at the church that my grandparents used to attend. So it's I was raised with a strict upbringing, also a strict religious upbringing.
Right.
And then I find out that my dad was...
Your whole foundation was rocked.
Correct. I found out, wait, hold on, son.
Yeah.
I used to get really they spare the rod, spoil the child type of situation. And I realized I went through... He used to beat me for nothing. Nothing. I remember getting woken up to punches. You know what I'm saying?
Punches.
Yeah, but it wasn't a big deal. I mean, I guess it is, but
men.
But
of yonder.
No, but so it was and then I find out this, and I'm I just was home late from school, and you were beating me for that?
Yeah.
Right. And you got a whole situation.
Yeah, so I mean, now not that we're past it.
Yeah.
In my opinion, in my mother's opinion, he's never really, they're still together.
Yeah.
My mother ended up raising both the kids.
Oh.
So it's just like something.
Strong woman.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're my brothers. I love them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But even my relationship with them isn't great because of how everything happened, you know? It's a long, long story. Right. I might get back to it. Let me just take a second.
Right, hit that. And like, yeah, I mean, what are these supposed to's of a man is what I always come to. And I feel like you guys hit on several of them. Reliability, loyalty, provision, protection, right?
Yeah.
These are things that I think of when I think of a man.
Yeah.
I would hate for those things to go awash.
I think it's gonna have to, each household is gonna have to define
that for
themselves. Like I said, I've seen examples of folks that I wanted to emulate, but literally it's actually kind of blown back in my face. My wife was like, yo, like that's them. Like don't compare them to us. And so yes, I may take counsel from, you know, guys that I respect as far as their relationships, but also realize, you know, we have to communicate about what is the expectation you want from me. Because I might have a certain strength or a certain weakness that she may have to pick up on, and vice versa. That might not be traditionally male. Yeah. But again, I mentioned the whole taking care of the house thing.
Right.
But you play the role that you're needed in. And I think that's what my definition has grown to be. It isn't what we've seen in pictures in society. It's grown to be, what do I need to be in this situation? Is it a financial provider now? Is it an emotional provider?
Right, because it's constantly shifting.
It's constantly shifting.
And if I may, like I'll just add, in the realm of dating out here, which I would prefer a man. You know, I grew up in a household where my parents shared the second shift. So like, I'm even trying to, like, it never even crossed my mind that it might be strange or different that my mom cooked and then my dad immediately got up to clean. Like we cleaned together, we cleaned the dishes. Or we set up the kitchen the way that it started. And you do the literal laundry and I fold the laundry and mom puts her clothes in the laundry, right? You know, like everybody's just out here doing whatever it is that they do. Dad like does the car stuff. So we don't ever have to think about what happens with the cars. Great, because I don't want to have to think about it. And right, hello. And wherever I was going with that, it was the point of essentially, I like that. That's what I would want to be dating. Oh, right, I got myself. Okay, so finding someone that would be willing to share on a very minuscule level, open the door for me, pull out my chair, offer to pay the bill, the full bill. On a date, ask me out on a date, talk to me in real life. I mean, could I go on?
So you're saying you're not experiencing that?
That's what I'm not experiencing. I have been single for 9 years. 9.
So I think it's gonna be a combination.
Just tossing it out.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a combination. All right, I think it's gonna be a combination of what they already bring to the table, and there could be things.
Which is light.
It could be. Like I said, I don't know who you have been dating, but I will. My guess is that it's either not innate in them or certain things that you might look for haven't been communicated to them.
I want to say this as well, though. You know what? In this day and age, I can see a lot of men being intimidated by you, which is unfortunate.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate.
That, yes.
But as I said, roles have been reversing for several years now.
Right. And
a well-spoken, attractive woman who seems virtually, you know, nomadic and independent, like
I don't need you or something.
You know, so they're like, you know, like they may not know how to approach. I like that. That's something that I welcome. But in this day and age, a lot of men aren't like that anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
But also I have to say, people aren't appreciating the man in the household anymore.
Right.
So it's like a catch-22. Like, oh, we don't need men for anything.
Right. So that's why I started this conversation off with, because maybe that is what's being, you know, perpetuated through the mindsets of these younger men who are in this, like, my age range, let's say, plus 10, plus or minus 10. And they're like, well, she's not even going to want me to look at her. So let alone, why would I think to even open a door? Because that's sexual harassment. That's this,
I believe it also depends on your exposure to what you're dealing with on a daily basis. It's like if you're working in Manhattan,
sure,
where you have a demographic of everybody,
right?
there's a lot of opinions flying around.
Sure.
I own a recycling company. I'm in a yard all day with trucks and I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on as far as like the kids talking about, we don't need man, blah, blah. We're men in a yard. Right. We're dirty. Selling cars.
Literally men out here
doing like men's stuff. I'm dirty head to toe every day. When I get home, like I will cook, I will do whatever, but shit, I'm tired, man. I've been working my ass off.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't really get the feedback from people, maybe because I'm not around so many people as you guys are around on a daily basis. You know, you're meeting with different clients. My clients are the same clients over and over again. It's a recurring business. I don't even see them half the time.
Right.
So it's like, what's happening? I kind of catch a glimpse on TV, but to be honest,
you don't watch
I don't really watch TV. I'm so wrapped up in my world and trying to build myself to become somebody that can provide for my family because my family wasn't able to do that.
Right.
I watched them have a structure for me to grow up with and lose everything. Lost the house, lost the marriage, lost everything. It made me go into a bubble where I just focus on what I gotta do so that does never happen to me or my family ever. And it almost puts like a blinder on you to what's happening with the whole feminism and all that stuff. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. And I'll be honest, I'll sit here and say, I don't know what's going on. Yeah. I don't pay attention. I don't even know because people that know me, people that attempt to hang out with me, I'm busy. Yeah. I really don't have time to hang out. I'm grinding. It's almost like I'm the 50s guy. Like I'm out there just nonstop. Like let's go. Like me and Sim talk, and he says, "You're trying to do this. You're trying to do something else. You're trying to do something else." Right? Yeah. Because I'm not wrapped up in the politics of what everybody's talking about. I don't care. I need to do what I gotta do to get to the next step. And it sounds selfish, but hey, man, like. Sooner or later, I'm gonna have a wife and kids that I need to provide for. Yeah. So I'm wrapped up in everybody else's opinion. Where are we going? What are we doing? I almost feel like it's a. But it's interesting to hear what you're saying about the children.
So these people get vilified. These men get vilified for maybe like lightly grazing a butt. Look, I'm not about men grabbing my cheeks. You know what I mean? But a light graze, I'm like, oh.
And I say to them, what are we emulating?
What are we emulating?
We are glorifying fake. Kim Kardashian, we're glorifying fake.
Yep. The general public, the masses are ignorant.
Yes.
They don't have not just enough people to be able to invest in them, but they also don't realize the critical need to be able to reach out and say, hey, I need help. Because that part is not taught.